Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Just had the serviceman from Gordon Water Service here, and he did a reset on my water softener. It's a Kinetico water systems, and we have it as a rental unit, so we don't pay for the service call. But this might save someone who doesn't have a rental unit from paying for a service call. What happened? The city went through and flushed the water hydrants, and we didn't run the water for a while, but still, when you flush the water hydrant, fire hydrants in the system, it stirs up all the sediment off the bottom of the pipes, and it gets into the water. So there was water in our service line coming into the house that had silt and scale and other things in it. And that plugged our filter, which is right here. It also tends to put a tremendous strain on the filter, the water softener, because the water softener is set to handle a certain quantity of grains. In other words, grains are the amount of hardness in the water. When they flush the lines, it puts a lot more hardness in the water. So the water softener is set to handle a set amount of grains of hardness. They flush the lines. It puts an excessive amount of grains of hardness into the resin unit. Now the resin unit is set to back flush and wash itself out using the salt water in this tank. Because the Kinetico single tank unit basically recycles the water through this single filter, and while it's doing that, if you flush a line or flush a toilet or run a sink or anything uses water, you're taking water that's hard and putting it into the system. It can go into the hot water heater, it can go into the main lines, it can go into your house pretty much anywhere. So we had a slightly harder water than normal. That is because the flushing by the salt water is set to handle a certain number of grains. We had more grains than the flushing could handle, so it did the normal amount, and then anything over that got left in the resin. That was the explanation given to me. Now, any error in repeating that is all my fault. Ian was very good about doing that, but this is, once again, just something to kind of give you a heads up. Because the water softener was holding a certain amount of hardness in the resin tank that it wasn't flushing out, a little bit of that got into the water. Over time, it would gradually go away, but I don't know how long that would take. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year. It might be done in 2 weeks. Although I doubt that. The water lines were flushed 2 or 3 months ago. So anyways, Ian changed the filter, and then he took a Phillips screwdriver and pushed down on that Phillips screw head. While he had that pushed down, he took a Phillips screwdriver that he was using to push it down and turned it. It went around until the little tab, that little black dot on the side of that wheel, went around and touched the stopping point. Then he went a couple of clicks past that to get it into recycle, into the flush mode. Then he just took a screwdriver off of it and is going to go through and do a manual flush. It's an additional flush beyond what it was normally set for. So I'm going to give it a couple of days, and then I'm going to do another additional flush. Now it's going to use a little bit more salt, but this unit doesn't use much salt to begin with. So being able to do that, I'll be able to change the filter next time they flush the lines and do an additional wash on the resin, and I won't have to wait for them to come and do it for me. I can take care of that myself. Filter costs $28, and they flush the lines once a year. So about every year I'm going to have to change that filter. And it's been a good 6 years since we had the water softener put in. So I'm thinking probably way overdue for a filter change. But they did a good job. They came when I called them. This is the number that you can reach them at in the Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and Holland area. And they're a very good company. I'm very happy with them. We've owned water softeners several times in the past. Matter of fact, since 1979, we've always had a water softener. But owning the water softener means that every time something happens to it, you have to pay for the repairs. This rental unit costs us a set amount each month, but the set amount each month is offset by never having to pay for a service call, like today. So it's money well spent, time and effort well spent. I'm very happy with it. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. And I hope your water softener works just as well as mine does. Thanks for watching.